I was trail riding my horse Elvis through some CRP land and then down along a creek, and I finished in an alfalfa field. I do this to get in his daily exercise and, of course, keep him in shape. Along with exercise, he's also on a routine diet of hay and grain to make sure he gets the proper nutrients he needs, with the exception of a few peppermints because, well, let's face it, he's kind of spoiled. See, with Elvis, the best thing that I can do is, of course, keep him in shape, because if I wasn't able to, he would soon deteriorate due to neglect, and our time in the rolling hills of Sichi Hollow would be limited. This philosophy of taking care of Elvis can be applied to why manage water for conservation. If we do not, the lives that we lead and the everyday activities that we enjoy will soon not continue. As I saddle Elvis up for his daily ride, I make a brief check of history to ensure that he is getting the correct balance of feed and, of course, exercise to keep him in shape. Generations of farmers and ranchers have been able to balance the domestic, industrial, and, of course, the agricultural needs of the people. However, according to new NASA data, our world is running out of this fresh water. The 0.7% of fresh water that is usable by people is decreasing as the demand exponentially increases. Satellite images have revealed that over half of the Earth's 37 largest aquifers, including the Big Sioux and Oglala in South Dakota, are being depleted, according to gravitational data from the Great Satellite System, which means that we will now either have to find water and other resources from different places, or we will soon have to face the stark reality that the lives us South Dakotans have enjoyed for the past 5 generations will soon blow away in the strong South Dakota wind. There are 2 main draws that are pushing our water to become scarcer. The first, of course, is that our world's population is increasing and is the largest it has ever been, which means the water resources that we have for industry, domestic, and agriculture will have to increase. And that means South Dakota will have to use more water to grow more crops, to produce more food for these people. The second is that our fresh water is currently being contaminated by chemicals and pesticides. However, South Dakota does try to manage this by determining whether the pollution came from a point or a non-point source and then stop the polluting from there. However, without enough water, we will fail to produce enough crops to prevent hunger and, of course, keep up with the growing population. However, this can all be better controlled just by simply managing our water. Every week I have to manage my horse's water, Elvis, by dumping his water buckets out and making sure he has clean water. And he doesn't drink his normal nasty water because, well, he's a hay dumper, so it's not good. But of course, along with that, we also need to manage our water to make sure that it stays healthy. Water management, as described by the United States Department of Agriculture, is the control and movement of water resources to minimize damage to life and property and to maximize efficient beneficial use. By managing water for conservation, we are able to save water that might otherwise be wasted, and we are also able to produce cleaner water that is less contaminated with the chemicals and pesticides that we are currently facing. South Dakota is just one of the many states who has been working to manage their water better for conservation, to ensure that we don't have a water shortage and that we don't have to worry about how we're going to be able to grow food. According to South Dakota Corn, farmers are hard at work managing and protecting our fresh water. Farmers place natural vegetation filter strips to intercept and trap soil from fields before it reaches waterways. They align furrows to reduce the amount of runoff from rain or irrigation. They use diversion channels to send runoff to safe areas. And they make use of buffer strips and grass waterways to capture sediments and nutrients and to also prevent erosion. Solar-powered wells are also being introduced because they allow water that is not contaminated with nitrates or bacteria to quench the thirst of livestock, and they have found that it's actually been increasing the livestock's weight faster as well, too. Some farmers have been taking their land out of production, though, lately and putting it into the CRP, and soon they will have to stop using water-intensive crops such as corn and revert back to wheat and barley because of our lack of water. Eventually, they might even have to start investing in drought-resistant crops as well if we continue to use our water the way we currently are. Just like how I have to ride and condition and feed Elvis to keep him healthy, the same is true about our water. I made a commitment to take care of Elvis, and we need to make that commitment to our water now. I can't just decide one week that I don't want to take care of him and expect him to be fine the next. That's not really how that works. Water management, by doing this, we can ensure that we will have plenty of clean water for plenty of crops, to grow plenty of crops, to produce fields of them for generations to come. By managing water for conservation, we are able to ensure that our farmers and ranchers of America will continue to sow the seeds of a bright future.